Hello everyone, welcome to this little tutorial. As of late, I've been seeing a lot of people on the groups, on various groups that I manage on Facebook, have the same issue with image resolution. When you upload a picture to one of the contests, people seem to have files that get compressed, and they have no idea why, as to why on earth an image looks really bad, even though it didn't look as bad when you first took the shot. So hopefully in this little explanation, you'll be able to see a few things as to how to get over that, maybe using Photoshop, which one of the things that I'm going to show you is how to use it on Photoshop. Also how to compress a file down on Photoshop and export it a different way than you usually would. And maybe that might help some people if they have too large of a file to get it down, but at the same time retain some of the image quality that you're still looking for. So before I even begin, I jotted down a few things just to give you like some pro tips as to the reasons why your image might be having bad quality. So the first thing is you probably shouldn't upload from your phone and start uploading from your computer. The second thing is make sure you actually have good internet connection, because that actually influences whether or not your photograph is sort of like in a queue. Facebook gets uploaded thousands and thousands and thousands of images daily. This thing has a very high amount of users that upload images to Facebook. So imagine your photograph in sort of like a massive queue. What you don't want to do is have your images, even though you upload a photograph and it comes out really bad quality. And the main reason for that, or one of the reasons that could be because of that, is because your internet speed is very slow, and that could affect the amount of data that inevitably transfers into the image and then transfers into the upload. So what you want to do is check with your connectivity and check to see if you have good connectivity before you upload an image to one of the contests. The next thing that I would say is, for those of you that are using a DSLR camera like myself to photograph all the time, and if you are using the JPEG function, the JPEG function is the sort of universal standard photo function for everything and everywhere. JPEGs, there is nothing wrong with JPEG. I think JPEG is absolutely fine, and I don't see this as a problem. The only thing that I will say is that when you photograph in JPEG, things are compressed even before you add the picture to your computer. Even before you pass it on from the camera onto the computer, JPEG already compresses an image size down. And the main reason why you would want to have a JPEG is because your memory capacity in your camera, your CF card or your memory card in your camera, doesn't have enough space to support a raw function file. A raw function file, when you change from JPEG to RAW, basically you take a picture in RAW and it holds all of the information. All of the raw data from that photograph is in that photograph. Nothing is compressed, so you won't get images that have slight changes in color. You won't get images that have slight changes in light, in exposure, nothing. What you take a picture of as you see it is how it comes out in the camera in RAW function. So let's just say I have a picture here, a JPEG here from like a dolphin safari I went to a little while ago. And let's just say that, you bring the image into Photoshop and you're ready to export, and you want to see what kind of quality this image has. So let's just go to a second here, get info. So this image already has 3.2 megabytes, and 3.2 megabytes is kind of a decent-ish size. I think you won't have no problems uploading. I've uploaded photographs that are way bigger to Facebook, and I haven't seemed to have a problem. Of course, the bigger you go, the more time it's going to take to inevitably upload a photograph. However, 3.2 megabytes isn't bad, but let's just say I wanted to get 3.2 megabytes down to, let's say, 1 megabyte, while still retaining image quality, while still having a good image quality. So you're in Facebook, it's here to the side, and let's just go to camera raw, and let's do some tweaks. something very, very basic. Not really interested in, I'm not really interested in getting a high quality image here. It's just an example to show you. So let's just say this is your final edit, right? And this was your before and this was your after. And now you're finally ready to export. So instead of doing the typical thing, which is save as, save on your computer, and then selecting JPEG, which is absolutely fine. I mean, you could do that. Why don't you just try going instead to export, export as. You're going to see a little export as function here. Click the export as function, and you'll see here image size. And this is the tab that you really want to pay attention to, because image size is going to determine the amount of information that your image inevitably will have at the end when you finally export it as a JPEG. And right now your width is 5,184 by 3456. And this is because of the edits that you've done to the image, because you've added exposure, because you've added things like color, you've done color correction, so on and so forth. Your file size is actually going to be larger. It's 11.4 megabytes now. So this is a pretty big file. And what you want to do is, in order to decrease this file size, but still have image quality, skip that up to 50%, yeah, so you can sort of see. You might want to put the image size, the width down to, you might want to put, let's try putting down the width down to 2000. And you see that really hasn't changed too much the image quality, but it's already lowered here. You can see it's already lowered the resolution. It's already lowered it down to 2.5 megabytes, which is a huge jump. So you might want to do this to lower the amount of information your image has, but still hold some of that image quality to then upload to Facebook to one of the contests. When you change width here, the height is determined automatically, or should be determined automatically. And you really want to have it on biqubit automatic. Make sure it's on biqubit automatic, because that's what's going to make it change the height automatically when you add in the width to 2000, or let's just say I add in the width to 1000, which means that my file size is going to be even smaller. As you can see here, my file size is going to be even smaller than 2.5 megabytes, but it means that I will have less information. You can already see that the image is not as sharp as it was when I had 2000 pixels put in. So I'm going to leave it at 2000 pixels because I think that I'm comfortable with that image resolution. I think it's pretty decent, as you can see here, 2.5 megabytes. I'm comfortable with exporting that. And I think that if I export it from my laptop onto a contest, if the contest was, let's just say, wildlife, for example, and I upload this picture, I click export. Let's just go to desktop, and I'm just gonna name this image 1. Save. Let's minimize that tab. And that is your image. This was your original, and that was your compressed. And there really isn't too much difference in terms of image quality. What you've done is just shrink the file size to hopefully make it easier for you to export, for you to upload onto Facebook. And yeah, hopefully that helps you solve the problem. I really do hope that there aren't many issues aside from that. I really do advise not uploading from your phone. Try to upload as much as you can from your laptop. Your connectivity is going to be better if you take a picture on your phone. Irrespective of the fact that phones have very good quality these days, you are still going to get a much smaller file size from the very beginning than if you were to take a picture on a DSLR camera. Again, I advise to switch to RAW, but there is, of course, nothing wrong with JPEG. For those photographers that shoot in JPEG, I shoot in JPEG once in a while, only when I don't need to shoot in RAW. I can automatically tell the difference between a JPEG and a RAW picture. So try shooting in RAW, see if that makes a difference. It will inevitably occupy a lot more file size from the very, very beginning because you are choosing to shoot with a higher resolution. But it will be much better when it comes to editing the pictures, because you have a lot more control when you want to edit in Lightroom or Photoshop or wherever it is that you do your edits and your exports. But like I said, in Photoshop, that's how you export it. That's how you lower the file size, but at the same time, keep some of that quality. I really hope this video helps, and let me know in the comments if you were stuck or if you had any problems or whatever. Feel free to ask.